My Lord and my God, I firmly believe that you are here, that you see me, that you hear me. I adore you with profound reverence. I ask your pardon for my sins and the grace to make this time of prayer fruitful. My Immaculate Mother, Saint Joseph, my Father and Lord, my guardian angel, intercede for me. At times, a crisis helps our faith to focus better on Jesus. Look at Peter's faith in today's Gospel. Peter's faith was strong at the start, although shortly afterwards, it is in crisis. The Gospel tells us that after Jesus had dismissed the crowds he was ministering to, he went up the mountain by himself to pray. He made his disciples get into the boat and go on ahead of him to Bethsaida. When evening came, the boat, battered by the waves, was far from the land because the wind was against them. Then early in the morning, Jesus came walking towards them on the lake. Knowing that it is Jesus, Peter asks that he also can walk on the water. Lord, if it's really you, tell me to come to you across the water. Come, Jesus says. So Peter gets out of the boat and he goes towards Jesus. It is an act of faith, but a faith that is not strong enough. He wants to be with Jesus, but then the power of the wind and the waves gets stronger. He begins to sink until he cries out to Jesus, Lord, save me. So Jesus assures him and takes hold of him. Jesus lifts him up. After he is rescued, he and Jesus go into the boat and the wind calms down. In these 10 minutes with Jesus, let us lift up to him those things in life that cause us to sink. Maybe because we focus more on the wind and the waves rather than on Jesus. Because like Peter at times, we are so very enthusiastic and eager to live our faith in Jesus. But when uncertainties and trouble set in, we waver in our faith. And it's precisely on those times when we have to recognize that we cannot save ourselves. Only through Jesus can there be true salvation. So to think that we can achieve our salvation on our own terms doesn't make sense. What I heard from a priest the other day might help us see this. Try to imagine yourself wearing comfortable clothes. You are in a terrace or in an attic, in a peaceful place with a lot of light. And you are standing next to a huge canvas where you have to paint a very important portrait. You have your paintbrush, and then on the table you have brushes of different sizes, and the palette with a little of each of the primary colors. Although you know that little by little they will end up getting mixed up as you paint. You also have spatulas that artists normally use to make different finishes of colors, or to scrape the paint and to draw lines. In any case, you haven't started painting and you're scared because you've seen projects that have gone wrong. You are familiar with canvases that ended up just being smeared with paint. And then all of a sudden, you see in front of you a portrait of your life, the smeared canvas of your life, smeared with maybe failed relationships that only left you with pains, or resolutions to improve that never really happened. So that vision scared you from getting started with the painting on that blank canvas that you have in front of you. But then imagine if just as you are about to start painting, Van Gogh or Rembrandt or Velázquez appears from behind. And then he takes your hand, he starts moving it, so he ends up painting through your hand. Of course, if you resist, he can't paint well. The lines will be crooked, the colors will be off, and the figures will lack proportion. But if you allow him to move your hand, a marvelous work of art will come out of that canvas. And the painting will be attributed to you because you painted it with your own hand, even if the truth is that it's by the expert painter who guided your hand. In a way, that's what happened to Peter. When he felt like he was going to mess it up with his wonderful performance of walking on the surface of the water. And he started sinking, and he called out to Jesus, "Lord, save me." So immediately, Jesus stretched out his hand and brought him to the boat. In this dramatic scene of today's gospel, we see Jesus telling us that he is the hand that wants to direct our hand so that we can make of our lives a masterpiece, a great performance. We have seen how much of an expertise we have in messing things up, causing ourselves harm and hurting others along the way. That's why in the same way that he told Peter, Jesus tells us now, "Do not be afraid. Allow me to take your hand, and once again, you will do the impossible. You will walk on the surface of water until you reach the boat." Jesus is not the painter who sits beside you to hit you in the hand every time you make a mistake. No, but he reminds us that without him, we can do nothing. If Peter did not set his eyes on Jesus, he wouldn't manage to walk on the water. It is Jesus who will make us capable of it. Of course, this sounds countercultural because we hear and we read a lot about how we can do anything we want because we have an infinite power, because we are masters of our destiny. And that if you want it strongly enough, the whole world will conspire to make everything happen as you wish. We get tips from the internet on how, maybe in 5 steps, we can get what we want. Strategies to bring out the best in us. But what we see in today's gospel is the real strategy. It is by looking up to Jesus that we can be capable of great things, meaningful things. Yes, we may be capable of walking on the surface of water, meaning to say we can transcend our problems as long as we look up to Jesus. But like Peter, we can still end up sinking in the process. But if we allow Jesus to take us by the hand, we can continue doing wonderful things and safely enter the boat. Yes, it is you, Jesus, who put in my heart the desire to do great and beautiful things. It is you, Lord, who make me capable to act according to your will. It is you who is acting through me. This is the real strategy, so that we don't overexert ourselves, and so that we start learning to ask help from him. So rather than overthinking, how can I be the best me? Well, we might as well ask our Lord, "Lord, what do you want of us? What do you want of me?" In that way, we don't get frustrated if things don't go our way, and we just ask Jesus for a bigger heart full of his love so that we can do all things with him. As the priest says at Mass, through him, with him, and in him. So this is not a question of choosing between acting with or without our Lord. This is about always acting with him and in him and through him. So Lord, I want to do everything for you. I want to do it with you. Anchored in you, you can act in me. And I know, Lord, that you are holding my hand firmly, just like you held Peter's. So my friend who's doing this prayer with me, for once, let's stop trying hard and put ourselves in the presence of Jesus, and let's tell him, take my hand, Lord. Save me, Lord. And as we sail through the stormy seas of this life, let us look up to our Mother Mary, whose name means Star of the Sea. As St. Bernard says in his famous homily, all of you who see yourselves amid the tides of the world, tossed by the storms and tempests, do not turn your eyes away from the shining star. Look to the star, call upon Mary. I thank you, my God, for the good resolutions, affections, and inspirations that you have communicated to me in this meditation. I ask your help to put them into effect. My Immaculate Mother, Saint Joseph, my Father and Lord, my guardian angel, intercede for me.